Hola, mis amores. How is your spirit today? It's your girl, January Pouncil. I am the guiding light and spiritual guide to intuitive thought leaders that are being the most authentic version of themselves, trusting their inner voice, overflowing with inner peace, and enjoying their lives every single step of the way. And today we're going to be talking about how to calm the voice inside with self compassion because I'm all about loving on ourselves and being compassionate on ourselves. And this is actually episode number 12. Episode number 12 of my ongoing series here on my YouTube channel called The Path to Inner Peace. The number 12 is such an important number, y'all. It's a number of completion. It's a number of that many zodiacs there are. It's just such a very powerful number in the spiritual space. And I'm excited that we got to video number 12. I've never been this consistent with my channel before, so it feels really good to be sharing this video with y'all. This video is part of the series. The theme for this series is leading while healing. So I feel really good about sharing the message I have for you today because I feel like this is something that is going to serve those of you that are leaders, that are leading other people in your lives, as well as leading yourself. The people that are going to get the most out of this video are my intuitive thought leaders, are those of us that are committed to mastering the art of authenticity. Those of us that have put on our bingo card for 2024 to show up as the most authentic version of ourselves, unapologetically, boldly, no matter who's in the room and no matter what's going on in our lives. And the ones that I desire to focus on today are those of you that want to go through this process, overflowing with inner peace, overflowing with mental calm, and enjoying being in the present moment effortlessly. Because as you've heard me say before, the present moment is all that there is. So I wanted to talk about this because I remember what it was like before I learned to calm the voice inside with compassion. I am a high achiever. I'm the type of person that would do a thing. I'm very type A personality. And because of that, I haven't always known how to be compassionate with myself, especially in the space of motivation. I used to find myself constantly motivating myself through punishment. Like, if you don't do this, you're not going to be able to do this. Like, use that kind of like, I'm going to say negative for lack of a better term. It's sort of that energy that I was using to motivate myself into action, and it wasn't serving me. And I remember being in my life and just sitting with how unhappy I was because of the way I would treat myself, because of the way I would talk to myself, because of the way I would hear these voices inside me and being like, yo, that's mad shady. Like, I don't like that. That does not feel good with me. And I know it's on the other side of that. I know how your life can transform when that voice is calm and is loving and is compassionate and is gentle and is sweet. And I want to share with you what that can look like for you and what it takes to get to that part of the process or that part of the journey. Especially those of us that are thought leaders, because we are committed to the journey of authenticity. And being authentic requires that we are expressing ourselves in all sorts of ways, through writing, through art, to our creativity, through dance, through our work, through our gift, right? And when we are in that space, it can be challenging sometimes to move with the level of authenticity that's flowing inside of us if we are being mean to ourselves, if we're being unkind to ourselves, if we're being harsh on ourselves. And the more we are able to calm that voice within, the more we are able to show up more lovingly and kindly, not only to us, but also to others. The more we are able to change out of self-love and not self-hate, which is a requirement of authenticity. So here's what you're going to learn today. The first thing I'm going to share with you is the number one reason why calming the voice inside with compassion is a non-negotiable for me as a thought leader and also other thought leaders. Because again, this is not just unique to me. This is for anybody that is a thought leader. Anybody that is a type A high achieving person that desires to be in the path to inner peace. This is what's required. Number two, I'm going to share with you what calming the voice inside with self-compassion looks like for me as a thought leader. Because when I wasn't embodying this energy, it looked different. And I want you to know what it looks like now. I'm going to share with you 3 ways that calming the voice inside with compassion and love has made my life 1,000 times better. That's actually one of my favorite parts of doing this video because it helps me reflect. It helps me see how amazing things have really been in this process so that you can have an opportunity to see what's possible in your own lives. And I'm going to give you the bonus for staying with me to the end. I'm going to share with you the best way for you to be able to calm the voice inside and do it with self-compassion and do it in a way that helps you up-level your inner peace and up-level your mental calm. Now, before we jump into that, I want to make you an invitation, especially those of you that are ready to work with me and want to take the next step. I am currently enrolling clients for the Self-Trust Society, and I'm going to get deeper into what that is later in this video. For now, though, if you decide to work with me and you know that I'm the mentor for you, I have 5 spaces available for authenticity audits. These are sessions that I have with powerful leaders like yourself, intuitive thought leaders like you that are desiring to make 2024 the most authentic year of their lives and desire to do it in partnership with someone that has been through this process, that leads others in this process, and that's going to be super loving and gentle and compassionate with your heart as you go through it. If that is you and you're serious about this, I want to invite you to apply for one of these authenticity audits and see if we can co-create some magic in your life. Click the link below in the description box so that you can apply. All right. Y'all know I have a story for you today, right? Because I always bring your story in this series. So here's what I want to tell you about today. Ooh, yes, let's talk about this. So in 2017, and you've heard me talk about 2017 already, I definitely feel like I spoke about 2017 during week 2 of this series. In 2017, that was a big year for me. There were so many breakthroughs that happened that year and so many aha moments that happened that year, especially leading at the end of that year, like October. And I have a journal. My journal from that year is actually right here. And that year, in October 2017, I made this declaration to myself because I was in a space where I was so mean to myself. I had just learned to treat myself super harshly. I had learned to treat myself out of wanting to make other people happy, external validation, people pleasing. I was heavy on that energy. And as a result, I had become so unkind to myself. I was always treating myself like I was less than, feeling unworthy. And I remember having a moment in 2017, October 28th, 2017, where I said, this is enough. This is enough. I'm going to make a commitment that I'm going to be more kinder to myself. I'm going to make a commitment that I'm going to be more gentle with myself. I'm going to make a commitment that I'm going to show up to myself in a different way because I'm sick and fucking tired of treating myself like this. Like, this is not who I am. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like God is leading my life. And in that moment, I just remember feeling like, okay, I'm going to do this. These are the things that I want to work on, because I started to see how intense I had become towards myself, how many expectations I had set on myself, how many expectations of other people I had put on myself, how much pressure I was putting on myself, and how exhausting it was to sit on that energy. And this is the number one reason, y'all, why for me it's a non-negotiable to calm the voices inside me with inner peace, with compassion. This is really a non-negotiable because I know that being authentic requires that I see myself. I know that being authentic requires that I take action, not out of obligation, not out of self-hatred, not out of external validation. It requires that I show up to myself out of love, out of desire, out of alignment, out of joy. And before that, I hadn't experienced that. I didn't know that was going on. And when I made that decision, I saw that, oh, this is what's required to be authentic. And I have a commitment to being the most authentic version of myself. And I'm not able to sit in that energy if I'm here pussyfooting with this stuff. If I'm here showing up to myself like I hate myself, that's not going to serve me. And that became the moment that showed me why it was a non-negotiable for me to be kinder, for me to be more loving. Because I realized that I was living the life and I was hating it. And I was hating it because of the way I was talking to myself about it. So I want to get into, actually, before I move on to that, I want to share this thing with you. I wrote this down and I want to share with you. Authenticity requires taking action out of unconditional love and self-acceptance, not self-hatred, so that we can amplify that energy in those we lead. Because we are leaders. If you are here, you're likely have your own business, your own venture. You may be leading a company, an organization. You're leading other people. So it's very important that you're checking on you around where your insight is coming from and how do you feel about that? Because that's what you're going to amplify in other people. And I had to check that for myself because I was leading other people at this time, and everything I was feeling towards myself, I was projecting it onto them. This is why it's so important that we are looking at ourselves and that we are quieting that voice, that we are calming that voice with self-compassion. I want to share with you what calming the voice inside me with self-compassion has looked like as a thought leader, because like I shared with you, I'm on the path to inner peace. I'm on the path of inner peace. It's not a destination I'm going to arrive at. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's how I choose to move in the world. And because I'm on that path, and that's what I've chosen for myself and what I feel that God has placed inside my heart to be, one of the things that has been really critical for me is to really be willing to be silent. As a thought leader, I'm constantly being bombarded with shit from everybody. There's emails upon emails right now in my inbox of people that are messaging me for things. And some of them are opportunities that I'm excited about, and some of them are things that I'm like, this is not in alignment. I'm constantly being bombarded by things on social. I'm being bombarded by things, in my life, by people, by questions. Like, there's always an influx of things coming in my direction, of things that people want me to do, things that people want me to help them with. So it can be really overstimulating to be a thought leader and to be someone that is committed to service, because it's so easy to give to others without pouring that back into ourselves. And this is why for me it's so important to be silent, that I am silent. And as a thought leader that is on the path to inner peace, quieting and calming that voice with self-compassion means being silent, means being able to sit in that silence. And it often feels uncomfortable to do that because, again, I'm being bombarded by all things all the time, and everybody thinks that their request is the most important thing that's hitting my inbox that day, or that's hitting my phone that day, or that is hitting whatever they see me at that day, and it isn't. And because of that, it's important that I am sitting in that silence. It's important that I am holding space to hear what's happening, to hear what are the voices saying, like what's going on, what y'all saying up in here. It's so important that I hold that space, because when I hold that space, I can reflect on what's coming up for me, and I'm honest about it. Like, I don't fucking pretend that I don't feel shit that I'm not feeling. In the moments when I catch myself in that space, I allow myself to realign myself and to be open and honest about where I am. And when I do that, I'm honest with myself about what feelings these voices are bringing up. Because when I hear a voice inside me, there are some feelings that tend to be attached to that voice. So I pay attention to what that is. And then I'm willing to learn about myself, about how I show up in that moment. Because that's the thing about authenticity, y'all. It's not only about doing something right or perfect, or it's not about that stuff. It's about being open about how you show up to the moments that require you to be authentic. And how do you talk to yourself about that process? It's not just the action itself, it's the dialogue that follows that action and how you feel about that dialogue. You feel me? You picking up what I'm putting down? So I want to share with you 3 ways that calming the voice inside with compassion has made my life 1,000 times better. And I'm really challenging myself that I only share the ways that he has made it 1,000 times or more better, because that's how huge these transformations are for me. Excuse me. And that's what I know is possible for you. So the first thing I want to share is I am more gentle with myself. When I wrote this here, there were a lot of things in my life that were giving a little bit of a shit show energy. I was actually probably coming out of that depression right about this time after my uncle was killed in Honduras. Yep. And I was starting to see the light. I was starting to see that there was joy in my life, that there was beauty in my life, and that I could sit in that energy. And I learned to be more gentle with myself, especially when things don't go the way I want them to, which is a lot. There are often times where things are not. Actually, I don't think I've ever planned something and it has manifested exactly the way I planned it. There's no such thing. Not for me and not for anybody that I've ever worked with. There's always been something different or a tweak. And this is why I'm sharing this with you today, because being more gentle with myself when things aren't going the way I want them to go has been so important, especially as a leader, because I have clients. I run a business, and there are times when things are not going to go the way I want them to go. And in those moments, I actually have learned to talk down on myself. I had learned to be mean to myself. I had learned to deprive myself. I had learned to punish myself. I had learned to embody the energy of being a victim. And that wasn't serving me at all. And what I'm able to do now in those moments, I'm able to show up powerfully. I'm able to look at my life and see there are some things I don't like. There are some things that are not aligned. Here are the opportunities for me to come back into alignment. Here are the opportunities for me to look at what I do love. Here are the things that are lighting me up in this experience. And I allow that to be amplified instead of putting my energy towards the things that do not serve me. And life is so much more joyful that way for me and for my clients and for the people around me. Because when you are a more joyful and kind person to yourself, also you bring that energy to other people, which brings me to number 2. I am more compassionate with others when they are going through a reactive episode. Because I'm a leader and I have clients. And when I'm working with my clients, there are times when they are reacting out of alignment. They are showing up like a victim. They are showing up like the old version of themselves that they are no longer desiring to be. And in those moments, it's important that I hold that space for them. It's important that I am looking at them and see that they are godly, that they are amazing, and they are powerful, and they are iconic. And that in this moment, they are showing up out of that energy that feels familiar with them or familiar to them when they are uncomfortable. And because I'm able to be gentle and kind with myself, I can bring that compassion to them in the moments when their voice is getting loud and it is leading them in a way that isn't aligned. In a moment when they are hearing the voices of people in their mind and they're going off on these things and they desire to shift and redirect, it's important that I can hold that space for them. And that can only happen because I hold it for myself. People can only give us what they have. Please take that with you. The third way that my life is 1,000 times better is I'm more enthusiastic about learning from my experiences and helping others see the opportunities for abundance instead of lack. I am so much enthusiastic about this. For a long time, I wasn't, because I was focused on what I didn't like. I was focused on the self-hatred. I was focused on the self-rejection. I was focused on the self-abandonment. I talk about abandonment and rejection being 2 of my biggest triggers in the last video, on video number 11. And because I know that's present for me, I got to look out for that shit. I got to be in tune. I got to see what the vibes are given. I got to make sure I'm staying in alignment and I'm checking to ensure that I am remaining focused with who I desire to be and that I am being authentic to who I am. And that can only occur because of my decision to be kinder, to look at that voice, to be compassionate with that voice. Then I can be able to see, let me learn. Let me learn about what's going on with me. Let me learn about the situation that happened. Let me learn about how I'm showing up to this situation. And then life stops being this thing that's happening to me that's very one-sided, and I feel like I have no control. And it begins to be a process of co-creation, where God is showing me things about myself and I'm choosing to see those things. And then God is inviting me to make some changes and I choose to make those changes. And then God is showing me what happens when I do that. It is such a fucking amazing way to live. It is such a beautiful way to co-create with God. And it's also uncomfortable. And because I see those voices and I'm able to have compassion for that part of me, I can sit in that discomfort with joy, with ease, and with flow, which is what I want for you. And this is why I'm going to make you an invitation right now. Do you want to work with me? Do you want some of this icon energy in your life? Because if you do, I am currently enrolling clients for 2024. So if you have authenticity unhinged in 2024 as part of your bingo card, then you want to come and work with me and be a part of the Self-Just Society. I told you I was going to tell you about the Self-Just Society, and I'm going to do it right now. So the Self-Just Society, it is this beautiful love offering I've co-created with my husband, and we've been doing this since 2018. So it's been about 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 5 years that we've been co-creating this space and running this space together. And what we're going to do is we're going to get together for 12 months. And in those 12 months, you're going to become a more expanded version of yourself. You're going to allow your authenticity to go unhinged, because the Self-Just Society is an authenticity container. It's for those of us that are desiring and are yearning to step up to the most authentic version of ourselves and do it with love, do it with compassion, do it with kindness, do it with joy, do it with inner peace. And that's what I desire for you. And that's what I'm currently enrolling clients for this program. It's going to be a whole vibe. We're going to get together for 12 months. It's a 12-month commitment. And we're going to have an amazing time together because we're going to focus on being the most authentic version of ourselves, overflowing with inner peace, trusting our inner voice, and enjoying the present moment every step of the way. If that's what you desire, and you know that you desire me to be your mentor on this path because you want to do it with the best in the world at this, come and play with me. To apply, here's what I want you to do. There is a link in the description box below where you can apply for a authenticity audit. These are the same audits that people are buying right now, y'all. I am giving you an opportunity to apply for some of these audits. To apply, I have 5 spots available. You can apply for one of these spots, and you and I are going to sit down and look at where you are and get clear on what it's going to take for you to embody being the most authentic version of yourself in 2024. And you're doing it with inner peace. You're doing it with inner joy. You're doing it with compassion and self-love overflowing every single step of the way. So apply for one of those sessions. You can click in the description box below, and let's go create some magic in your life. Are you ready for a bonus? If you made it this far, drop a sunflower for me to let me know that you're ready for the bonus. So here it is, y'all. Here it is. The best way to calm the voice inside with self-compassion, to up-level your inner peace with mental calm. I love what I'm going to share with you because I live this and I have seen it work over and over and over and over again. Very simple. Focus on your stillness practice. I talked about this earlier. Being still, being silent. Those are the best ways so that you can calm the voice inside with self-compassion. Here's why. When you're sitting in stillness and you're sitting in your silence, you are actually able to hear these voices. Oftentimes we try to run away from that energy because it can be really uncomfortable to sit in that. And I absolutely get it. I used to do that shit too. So I'm here with you. What I want you to know, though, is that when you hold that space to sit still and listen to the voices, listen to what comes up for you, what's present for you, then you are able to transmute any of that negativity or any of that discomfort that you may be feeling into love and liberation. And the way we are able to do that is because we pay attention to the voice and we hear it. And one thing that you may find yourself experiencing is that the voices that you're hearing are people that you actually know. The voice that you're hearing is actually of someone that you may be very familiar with. A lot of the voices I was hearing in my time, especially when I was being kind to myself, there were voices of people that had came in my life at some point or another. And I was able to clearly articulate and hear their voice and know that it was their voice. So paying attention to see whose voice are you hearing, because you may be thinking it's your voice. It's really not. So let's listen to see whose it is. Then you want to look at what are the emotions that's bringing up inside of you. Because when those voices come up, there are some emotions that are going to be present. They don't have to be bad emotions. They can be, I'm saying bad in quotation marks, they can be joyful emotions. They can be loving emotions. What are they for you? Pay attention to you. Take a look at you. The moments when I was treating myself in a way that wasn't loving and kind, there weren't loving emotions that were coming up for me. However, I noticed that there were moments where I was being encouraged and I was being loved, and then loving emotions would come out of that. And those were different voices I will be hearing. So pay attention to you and listen to yourself. What are the voices that you're hearing? Who are the voices that you're hearing coming from? You got too excited. And then pay attention to what comes up for you emotionally when those voices are present. And then I want you to sit with yourself and ask, how do I feel about these feelings? Because when we have certain feelings and we get triggered by these feelings, when these feelings get triggered inside of us, there are reactions that we have to that feeling being present. And that's where we tend to hold our authenticity hostage, because we don't want to accept that we have those reactions in the first place. So I want to encourage you to take up a practice of stillness and silence, and to hone in your ability to be able to listen to your the voices that are happening inside of you, and to treat them with compassion and self-love. You may be hearing my baby in the background. If you do, let's just all take a moment to let his daddy go get him. Okay, I think my husband got my son. So that was the bonus, y'all. In the next video, I'm going to cover peace begins with you. We're going to take a look at peace from a different perspective. We have been really diving deep into peace and inner peace this series, and I'm excited for that episode, because what's going to happen when you begin to calm those voices inside of you with self-compassion, you're going to look at peace differently. And I want to prepare you for that journey. I want to prepare you for that part of the process. So join me in the next video, where I'm going to be sharing why peace begins with you and offering you a different perspective, a different angle to look at this. For those of you that have submitted your application to work with me, I am super excited to see you on the other side. I am so looking forward to us chatting and to exploring our alignment. Those of you that joined me for this video, thank you so much for watching today. It was such a joy to have you, mis amores. My name is January Pouncil. I am the guiding light and spiritual guide to intuitive thought leaders that are trusting their inner voice, that are being the most authentic version of themselves, overflowing with inner peace and enjoying themselves every step of the way. And I'm here to make sure that you see things clearly. I want you to remember that you are a vibe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hasta luego, mis amores.